So, hello to all Flutter enthusiasts. I'm really glad that this is happening. It's been 2 years and I've seen the community grow, really. And this is the time to push even more. So do tell to your friends about Flutter. We need more of us. So let's start. Who am I? Uh, George. I'm the CTO at Vendora. I've been now a Flutter nerd since the summer of 2018. I was introduced to it, and from then, I really knew that it was something special. And since then, I've been involved in 5 Flutter apps that went to production. I'm thankful for that because I've really seen the framework evolve through the years, and some of those things I would like to share today. So Vendora, the first section of this talk is going to be about who we are and what we do. We are the leading classifieds marketplace in Greece. We are a team of 15 located in Koukaki. We are really passionate and crazy about our product. And one of the things that I really like about this product is how we love listening to our users, and we do that either by interviews that we conduct on site on our offices, or through feedback prompts through the flow of our site and app. So a little bit of history. We soft launched the web platform on 2017. Mobile first commit was September of 2019, and back then, the mobile team was really a Java backend engineer that was just introduced to Flutter by me. And together we managed to build the first version in 6 months and went live with it. It went well, thankfully. Now, fast forward 2 years later, we reached 500,000 lifetime downloads with 250,000 active installs in Play Store. And this was huge for me and a very big milestone. I'm really glad I was part of this. The site, the platform has over 370,000 listings, products to be sold right now and to be bought, with 2 million monthly visits. And really, I dare you to go to Vendora.gr and really find something. There's more than 20 categories. You can literally find anything you need. So what is Vendora, or better yet, what is the value of Vendora, is what I would like to really talk about, which is these 2 sentences: the everyday affordable, the extraordinary achievable. So to give a little bit more context to it, one of the top objectives, in my opinion, in life is comfort. We all seek to be comfortable, and unfortunately, this is not given for many people, right? For many people, the everyday necessities are hard to get. They are in a loop where they need to buy, let's say, cheap, lower quality stuff with shorter life span. So they need to do that again and again. When there is the opportunity through Vendora with second-hand products to really buy something in a better price that has a better quality and really can withstand the time. So this is one way that Vendora really provides the tools for people to find more comfort in their life. And the other one, apart from comfort, I truly believe that Vendora empowers people to achieve the extraordinary. And with extraordinary, everyone has something different in their mind, right? Something you could say you want to do kite surfing, or you want to start playing guitar. Now, the barrier on this is always the money. You always think, maybe I'm gonna lose interest, why I'm gonna pay so much money. But with second hand and with a tool like Vendora, we really give you the opportunity to to go out and try that new hobby, that new dream that you always wanted. So, so really, the platform is there to help you achieve the extraordinary. Now, this is exactly why I love working, and I think everyone, this is a part of the team there, love working on this product. Oh, good? No. All right, don't worry. Like, give me a second. So really, this product is, and this is the reason like that I love it, because many times what I say is that we are, I guess, most of us engineers, and we don't really think of how what we make changes people's lives. And I truly believe that a product or a company that has an offering like this can excite you even more, and I really suggest you to work for companies, maybe Vendora, that have an impact on society. Now there are a lot of features that Vendora has, but I really want to touch on one which I find the most important, since it's the first for the Greek market. And it can really disrupt how consumers transact online. And oh, wait. Okay. And this is what we call buy now, which is actually a term that we use to describe our escrow service. The objective we have here with Vendora and with this escrow service is to really remove second guessing from transactions that happen online between strangers. Like when you are a seller that want to sell something, you are always thinking, yeah, but how I'm gonna get the money, how I'm gonna ship the item, and like trust the other party that they are not going to do something not that cool. So with this service, as a buyer, you can be sure that you can purchase an item online, a second-hand item from someone you don't know. It could be you are in Athens and the other person is in Thessaloniki, but you are sure that you will receive the money or your money back. Sorry, you will receive the product or your money back. So in a nutshell, how this really works is you as a buyer find the product, you pay for it online just like a normal e-shop using your credit card, and Vendora safe keeps the money you paid. Then seller is notified to ship the item, and when the buyer receives the item, they can inspect it, and if it's as it was described by the seller, then everything is good, and Vendora releases the money to the seller. So that's the process that safeguards the transaction, and it's really all about creating a process where neither the buyer nor the seller has something to gain by doing something other than asked. I can go in detail on this for a lot of time, but I don't think it's for this meetup. So, like, I want to end about Vendora with what we really want in the future. We continue to innovate by breaking things, bring new value to the Greek market, and in this field of classifieds, where all those years we were a lot behind, in my opinion. We want Vendora to be the default classifieds marketplace in Greek minds. And our ambitions don't stop inside Greek borders. We are planning to expand the community that we are building here to neighboring countries, and increase the pool of people and products that are available in the platform. There is someone that entered the waiting room. It says, I don't know if that says something. So, Nikos Labrinos. He's waiting. So how did Flutter meet Vendora and Vendora meet Flutter? when I initially was introduced to Flutter, I was convinced really that this was the way. At the time, I was at a company called Dr. Anytime, and I was on a mission to spread the Flutter love. I was talking about it to everyone. So I was thankful to also in Dr. Anytime build an application in Flutter where they now also continue with it. But on that mission of speaking to everyone about Flutter, I built not exactly a presentation, but a way that I was trying to present to people what Flutter is and what's the value. And one of those people that heard this was Robin. Now Robin is the CEO of Vendora. He was also, and he is, a very good engineer that knows his way around cross-platform technologies. So it's a big win that I managed to convince him. Now, how I did that also in Dr. Anytime and other clients, I was like, I urge you to just build a demo app. Usually you try to do a wow factor, right? And for me, what was my wow factor in Flutter was just a list view, an infinite list view that you can scroll and go nuts. Like I would tell them like do that, and that really shows how Flutter doesn't have something to lose from native. People won't be able to understand the difference while they are able to do so, in my opinion, in other cross-platform technologies. Another thing that I really love about Flutter, and I was sometimes I would do that with clients, I would literally create the MVP of their product just in code there, because if you really know your way around the widgets, the base widgets, it's just a composition thing. You can move things very quickly around and build the thing that they are thinking, which also creates a very big wow for them. So in general, why Flutter? For me, it's the following. Okay, of course, we all know performance. It's similar to a game engine, like maybe some don't know about Flutter, but really every pixel is drawn by Flutter, and I can't stress this enough, has no problem with scrolling and animations. I know some of you may know about the iOS junk that has been talking on some issues in GitHub, but that do know that this is something that the Flutter team actively works on, and they are actually on the latest release, they are working on a new rendering engine called Impeller. I think it's now only available on iOS, and you have to create a flag to enable. But the thing is that it removes even that junk. So this is a very cool thing about the Flutter team. They actually work on things that give you free performance. and it's very nice when you upgrade the Flutter version and like, woohoo, you are like 30% boost of performance. Now, the other thing I really like is clean. Yeah, widgets are so cheap to make. Like you can make hundreds of them in a screen, and like you would be cool with that. You compose your screen with it, and that gives you, like in my opinion, gives you the option to name your components, group the functionality of a screen with business context, and that's something that many times you miss it from like other front-end frameworks where you don't see, like what I always like is see the screen and the top level widgets or components, as you want to call them, and really understand what is where. An example of this is in Vendora, we have a details page. So there is somewhere is the seller, and maybe there is a horizontal list view of other products that are similar to the item to the product that you see. So what I expect and what we actually have in Vendora is a widget that is called similar product list. So this is so specific, so clear that even you don't need to know code to understand it. So that's one of the reasons. Easy. So amazing documentation. Core framework for me is self-explanatory most of the time, and you can literally dig into that and see the comments and stuff. But one of the biggest for me is material and Cupertino design are implemented in the framework, which is something you will miss, like from React Native. You have to do, you have to depend on outside libraries to do a material button. Now, I'm not saying that this is bad for them, but it's even better for us that these are built inside the framework. Of course, native plugins are easy to implement. That was also a very good thing for me. And if you know any native technologies, then really it's quite easy to bring that knowledge to Flutter and create plugins. The community here is really great. And the other one that initially I was suggesting that to companies. I didn't really know it, but it turned out to be true. In my experience, it takes around 1 month to become a confident Flutter engineer. I've done this with a Java backend engineer, with PHP, with Kotlin, Swift, React Native. All those people took them around 1 month to be confident and start writing code in production, which I find really cool and a really big win for. All good? Yes. Find it really cool and as a business proposition to companies, this is something that they will be interested in. And now, for me, maybe that's the best one. Happy. I was literally happy when I started writing Flutter code, and developer happiness is again one of the things that companies should worry about. I want the engineers to be happy in their workplace and on what they do. I don't want them to fight the framework. And in most cases, Flutter achieves that really well. Again, hot reload coming from native, I was sometimes waiting 5 minutes for a color to change. So that was a crazy change in my life also, right? It's how you live. And again, the fact that you can look at the code and really understand how that looks, when you write code in Flutter, you should also try to achieve that. You should see the widgets and understand what it is. Also helps a lot with PRs. More stuff. Lovely, easy animations, as I say. There are very cool animations you can do with just some lines of code. You can go really deep and get complicated with it, which is also very nice. But on the surface, you can do a lot of stuff with so little code. And Dart Flutterpad, this is also a cool thing for me. It wasn't always the case that we had that, at least Flutterpad, but when Flutter was able to also compile to web, Flutterpad was really nice to also on clients. When you want to showcase something, do it there. They're gonna see how that works on web also, which is nice. Yeah, so this is it. Now, the following section is about some tips that are opinionated, of course, but state management. State management was 2 years ago not such a topic in Flutter that was, okay, do that. And maybe that got worse even. I do know that right now you either go with Flutter block or provider/rivercode, and there is Redux, but I haven't heard yet someone using it. I don't know if anyone of you uses it. So in my opinion, and that's also driven by some scaling standards that I have in my mind. Flutter block and the family of those libraries is the way to go. First, it has great documentation, great community, a very active Discord server, really. And for me, the biggest thing is that it provides structure. So when your team scales, you can be sure that they're gonna follow the pattern that the library creators have created. So it is a little bit opinionated, but not as much that it gets in your way. Layout. So I'm gonna try to explain how I try to think about layout. Maybe you get something of it. I always try to reduce my views to tiny stupid widgets, as I call them. The smallest, the better. And I always think a screen as an architect, like the first, let's say, level architect, I don't know if that exists, says where the living room is and how far the kitchen is, what's the distance between that. So I want to see a living room widget, a spacing widget, and a kitchen widget in that. Then you go deeper and in the living room widget, the interior designer says how many sofas, what are the distances, that kind of stuff. So there again, as you go down, you try to work on those things. And then on the really deep bottom widgets, you are starting to styling them. So in a way, what I want to say is, as you go down the widget tree, the more stupid the widgets should get, diverting responsibilities to their parents. So that's my way. Get stupid going down and give responsibilities to your parents, which is actually how everyone should live. So in my experience, this always results in an easily testable widget tree, easy to understand, which is a big thing when you are reading code. The other thing that we do in Vendora is heavily use packages. The main lib folder is worries only about views and state. Everything, all other responsibilities are moved to their own packages. So think networking, repositories, feature repositories, and plugins all live in isolation and are used by the main lib folder to create the features that we want. Theming, again, this is something that I urge you to do. Like, there is material, there is Cupertino, and then there is your app. I truly think that it's in your benefit to create your own UI package that's using material or Cupertino or whatever, but it consists of your buttons, your spacers, your fonts, your themes, and all that can also be exported to web to be distributed to other parts of the team, like designers. They can look at it, play with it, and that really helps, or at least having that option really helps in the future. Okay, this is maybe this is something we should have done earlier, but we didn't when we started linters. Very good analysis has some very sensible defaults. So starting with that, I think you won't lose. Again, it will create consistency and will help you when you increase your team. Now, the journey to like 2 years and all this time with Flutters hasn't been easy. Flutter has evolved, has fixed a lot of things for us, and I'm glad for that. So most of what I'm writing here is resolved, but we did have to overcome some obstacles that we found in our way. And I really want to discuss them and talk about them because it shows how in those years Flutter has evolved. So, okay, the first one is really where I see it and null safety. Really, when this was introduced, like Flutter wasn't always with null safety in the Dart language. So we were pre-null safety when we created it, when we created the project. And the problem with null safety was that it was a big migration for us. But due to capacity, we couldn't do it. Like we were pushing it away, and like the time came, and we didn't also have the time to do it properly. So we cut corners, and I still see the scars in the code, and we are trying to improve on that. But lesson learned here is do your upgrades on the new Flutter versions, but There is also the case of the next slide, unexpected issues in new Flutter version. So in my experience, and if you go also see the hot fixes that they do, it's 3 to 5 hot fixes after every major release. So I try to wait 1 month before upgrading just to be sure. Good notification way, if I do that on Twitter, like Flutter releases is like tells you when a new release is there. Another oops, as I call them, is there is no SVG support implemented in the framework. There is a good library. Actually, it's really solid. It works. But the problem is that they don't support all the SVG format. So you need to be really careful when you use that library on how you export your SVGs, to not have things that the library doesn't support. So the story there was that, okay, designer built a new SVG icon, we put it on the site, and like we never thought twice that it's not gonna work on mobile, like why? But it didn't. So that's how that happened. Now this is also again very specific to our use case, where we have to, when you upload the product, you have to select images to upload yours to the server. And we do want to reduce and compress those images before doing that upload to save bandwidth, of course. But it used to be that image was the, it was called image, it's called also image now. Used to be the most, like day one library that everyone was using. But that library was written with web in mind, and it wasn't really taking care well of RAM that you don't have in mobile. There was no file streaming functionality in their algorithms, but so we did see crashes on large images. Now, though, we are very confident with another library that is using native code to do the compression. It's called Flutter Image Compress, and actually combined with isolates, you are good to do anything you want. So yeah, that was actually very frustrating to me. I'm really glad that it's fixed now, because like Google Maps and like Google Flutter, like why so long Google? Yeah, there was a time where we had initial frames of Google Maps blacking out. There was just a black screen, and then it would come. So it wasn't really nice. But I'm happy to say that right now is pretty good. I don't see that issue anymore. Again, with images, we had there some issues. There was a time that image picker only allowed you to select one image. I don't know why. They never built the multiple image selection. That changed again, and together with file picker, like you are good to go. Again, showing how the community has evolved in that sense. Unreliable GPS location that occasionally failed. That was also in the start because again, there you have packages. Either you had to build your own plugin or rely on others. Again, it was frustrating sometimes that we had issues there, but I'm really glad to say that now that's great. Microsoft login library wasn't there, but now is, so great. Like who uses Microsoft login? Unfortunately, we did. And we did find a solution, but we did spend more time than we wanted it back then. The last one, really, maybe I've said too many oops, but it's been too many years, is Facebook for me. Like Facebook relies, in Flutter, there are many libraries that do one thing of the Facebook features. So login, app events, app links, all these are different libraries that depend on the Facebook core SDK. So when one changes and one upgrades, it could create the situation where you can't no longer compile your app. So there are, at least if you have any other options, I would love to know. But we end up forking them, the other libraries, just to do the upgrade. And the lessons from all of this, of course, for me is that really Flutter has now evolved, is in a more mature place than it used to be. And even when there were obstacles, community was quick to find solutions. We were literally working all together to figure out ways. And the fact that it is really straightforward to make native plugins was actually what made me also confident to go with Flutter. And it really showed value on our journey, because we have some libraries that we build. Like MangoPay is our payment provider. They don't have a library to tokenize cards. So we built that. Greeklish, we have a library that transforms a Greek word into Greeklish versions. Like we use pretty much Scrooge's version. Easy Localization is a library for localizing your app a little bit differently from what is the Flutter default way. Is quite, you have less boilerplate, you have a JSON file with keys that you can nest, so it's more like into how web looks. But I'm currently maybe looking to switch to the Flutter way there also. Pusher, I know some of you use Pusher. It's for getting notifications when they happen and to do things on your app. Again, there recently the Pusher team created a Flutter package for that they support, but it's still not where I want it to be in order to change. So we internally have one of our own. And again, for payments, it's usually the case right now, so be prepared for that at the end, another payment provider doesn't have a package right now for Flutter. But again, it's like very easy to just create a plugin, call the drop-in thing that they have. You show a model of payments and all good. So this is it. Before I go, there is an Easter egg in the Vendora application. I don't know if I've planted this Easter egg from the first moment, and still no one has told me anything. So I'm gonna have to start giving it away. If you are on a conversation with another person in Vendora, you can write on the chat input #confetti, and your screen will go confetti. So take that to your friends. I really want someday someone to come back to me and tell me, I know an Easter egg in your app. So at the end, if you have any questions, like we surely have time from what I understand. But of course, I'm gonna stay also for pizzas and beers. In any case, thank you for the opportunity and setting this up. Really great. So this is it.
Thank you.
Questions, anyone?